Well, the Indiana Fever lose a very, very tough one, a squeaker, as the New York Liberty, a team that one could argue is the best team in the WNBA, win by way of a squeaker. Some controversy on that last play, no doubt about it. In my opinion, it looked like Natasha Cloud probably fouled her. It was not called. The referees love to swallow their whistles at that time, that part of the game. But then again, they did not swallow their whistles with the foul call on Lexi Hall against Sabrina Ionescu just 3 seconds earlier.
The Indiana Fever experienced a crushing loss in what proved to be an intensely competitive matchup. The New York Liberty, recognized as one of the WNBA's top-tier teams, managed to claim victory in a thrilling conclusion. The closing moments generated substantial controversy beyond doubt. Examination indicates that Natasha Cloud probably executed an infraction against her adversary. Nevertheless, the referees decided against making that ruling. Officials usually opt to remain quiet with their calls during pivotal game situations like this. However, paradoxically, they showed no reluctance in making a disputed ruling against Lexi Hall when she guarded Sabrina Ionescu mere moments earlier.
Yesterday game was horrendous, bro. I mean, it was bad. I mean, this one might be one for the ages, bro. I can't even lie. The referees just exposed their hand so bad, bro. I mean, they just didn't care no more. They didn't care. The world was watching how bad the cause was. They didn't care at all. They was going to get their issue off against the Fever no matter what. And I'm here to tell you, that's exactly what went down, bro. I mean, they got their issue off in a major way, bro. I mean, there was countless of times I could literally look at the screen and know that was a foul. Dude, my 4-year-old son knew that was a foul, bro. I mean, what the hell? I mean, you would think with what they say coming into the season, Kathy was made it her business to let them know that, referees is going to be getting assessed for this next season and make sure they're making the right, proper calls. Man, at this point, we need NBA refs all the time, bro. I don't want these YMCA, junior league, high school ass referees, bro. We need real life refs because as of right now, they're costing the Indiana Fever major games that they definitely need to win. Even though it is early, bro, we need to win these games.
This specific game breakdown has created extensive conversation because presently there exists a single focus controlling basketball discussions. WNBA referees might face termination after helping the New York Liberty overcome Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever through dubious officiating choices. What occurred during the live telecast amounted to robbery of a fair result. The referees' handling of this matchup wasn't simply inadequate, it was disgraceful. This seemed to represent one of those circumstances where Caitlin Clark and the Fever discovered themselves battling two adversaries, the Liberty team and the officials as well.
Played on CBS was horrendous. These WNBA referees need to be fined. Something needs to happen. I mean, the lack of calls against the New York Liberties was at an all-time high, bro. I mean, if this was an NBA game, a lot of players would have been fouled out. A lot of players would have been in deep foul trouble. The way Caitlin Clark and Indiana Fever was getting fouled, it was just hard to watch at times. Now, granted, they rallied back from a 15-1 lead. From a 15-point deficit. But, guys, I'm telling you right now, the referees are the storyline in this one, bro. And I told y'all, I stressed to y'all this offseason, I told y'all what it was. I say, if Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever no call. Should have been 3 free throws. 3 of them, bro. She should have had 3 of them. This is freaking ridiculous, bro. I mean, ridiculous. We need to write the WNBA right now because these referees have to go. They have to go. I mean, damn, dog. I mean, bro, Aaliyah Boston hacked every damn play. Every time Caitlin Clark fed up the ball, Aaliyah Boston was getting hacked. Time after time after time again. Play after play after play.
The previous evening's matchup was completely dreadful. It was truly horrible. This could become infamous for all the incorrect reasons. The referees entirely exposed their prejudice so openly. They just ceased worrying about perception. The whole globe observed how awful their choices were, yet they stayed unconcerned. They were resolved to unleash their anger on the Fever without regard for situation. That's exactly what occurred. They demonstrated their hostility in a major way. There were countless moments where obvious infractions could be instantly identified. Even a young child could spot those violations. What's occurring here? One would anticipate that considering the preseason declarations, when Kathy clarified that referees would undergo assessment this coming season to guarantee accurate ruling precision. At this point, NBA caliber officials are required consistently. Amateur recreational league, high school standard referees are unacceptable. Professional officials are necessary because currently they're denying the Indiana Fever vital wins that they desperately need to obtain. Regardless of the early season period, these contests represent crucial victories.
Now, this is bad, bro. My God, bro. Let me try to blow it up.
Off. Cloud.
That's it.
Screening action down low. Clark has to get open. 1 second left.
Foul right there. Boom.
Clark doesn't get the shot off. Cloud locks her up. And New York comes into Indianapolis and takes the checkered flag.
The Indiana Fever came ready for war in Indianapolis, and they provided precisely that. They bounced back from a 15-point deficit. They showed resolve, energy, and determination, but ultimately none of that counted because the referees became the primary narrative. Examination indicates that in an NBA environment, several New York players would have encountered foul problems before intermission. Caitlin Clark suffered continuous physical harassment without safeguarding. Aaliyah Boston encountered aggressive handling in the paint. The officials just disregarded everything as though nothing happened. Everyone who observed knows precisely what took place. It was challenging to witness.
Now, look, Natasha Cloud, and I made a video yesterday. I told y'all Natasha Cloud could possibly be the reason. I hope not, but she could possibly be the reason Caitlin Clark get attacked this game. Somebody tipped me off and saying that in the comment sections yesterday of the video. I say, watch, there's always a player every game to screw over Caitlin. In this game, it was Natasha Cloud. So shout out to you who predicted that Natasha Cloud was going to be the reason Caitlin Clark never get screwed over in this game.
Screening action down low. Clark has to get open. 1 second left. Clark doesn't get the shot off.
That was a foul, guys. And I wish we had another angle. Oh my God, I wish we had another angle. So, guys, I'm literally surfing the web right now. I'm literally surfing the web right now to try to get us some footage, man. Because this right here is ridiculous. Natasha Cloud straight up foul Caitlin Clark. And yeah, and then Stephanie White is in hot water too because she didn't challenge it. She didn't challenge no call whatsoever. They had a challenge left to use, but Stephanie White did not use it, bro.
Forecasts hinted at this possibility during the break, that if Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever started gaining momentum, officials could try to undermine their advancement. That's precisely what happened. The Fever appeared in the second period ready for battle. Caitlin Clark was commanding. Back-to-back long-range shots, fadeaway attempts, pressure baskets. She humiliated Sabrina Ionescu with a dribble sequence. She excited the crowd. The tide was obviously shifting. That's exactly when the calls disappeared. That's when the contest was taken from the athlete's hand. The closing minutes were especially maddening to observe. With merely 2.9 seconds left, Caitlin Clark was contacted on a game-winning try. No call, no review, nothing. She earned 3 charity shot chances. That might have decided the result. It's absurd that officials overlooked such a clear infraction. The anger isn't just because it concerned Clark. The problem comes from how evident it was. It was obvious. It was wrong.
She could have challenged that final play, bro. My God. But let's get into some of the highlights of the game. That is Caitlin Clark shooting these threes, bro, because I'm telling you right now, I'm finna cook, bro.
Bodies on the floor. Clark 1-on-3 trying to split the defense. Goes into
Caitlin Clark came in that third quarter
and
cooking.
a fearless Caitlin Clark here.
Watch how she
Split 'em,
uses
split
her
'em.
body to
Wow.
shield the defender. That's just beautifully done by Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark came in cooking, guys. This is when things went downhill. So this is them calling a foul on Lexi Hall, right? This foul is determining. This foul right here was the reason they won the game.
The telecast was awful. These WNBA officials deserve penalties. Steps must be implemented. The lack of violations against the New York Liberty hit extraordinary heights. In an NBA contest, several players would have been disqualified. Many would have faced serious foul concerns. The manner Caitlin Clark and Indiana Fever were being contacted was agonizing to observe. Despite recovering from a 15-point shortage, the referees controlled the narrative. This trend was clear throughout the break conversations. Conditions are awful when announcers hint maybe that's an attacking violation, while the defender is clearly keeping lawful stance. Lexi Hall got a foul ruling that entirely altered the contest's flow. The Liberty used that opportunity to register points. From that moment on, it seemed like the officials had decided the winner. That particular moment transformed everything. Nothing made reasonable sense following that.
I don't get it. I don't know. But I do think there are two takeaways. 90-88 final score. But it should be noted, this is probably the best team in the league. The Fever lost by 2, and Caitlin Clark was 2 of 12 from three-point range. All right, do you know how few games she will ever be or ever shoot? She may never have another stretch in her career.
No call. She should have gotten 3 charity attempts. All 3 of them. She earned every one. This circumstance is completely absurd. The WNBA needs immediate contact because these referees require dismissal. They need removal. Aaliyah Boston was contacted on every single opportunity. Each time Caitlin Clark delivered her the ball, Aaliyah Boston suffered physical harassment continuously, possession after possession after possession. The Fever needed to perform perfectly just to stay competitive. Even that wasn't enough. The final sequence deserves another examination. Caitlin Clark navigates through picks trying to get free. She rounds the corner, gets the ball with 1 second left, rises for the attempt, and Natasha Cloud blocks her. Direct physical contact. That's a violation in every competition at every stage. They declined to make the call. The remarkable part is that predictions suggested Natasha Cloud might focus on Caitlin in this contest. Comments had mentioned this possibility, and observe what happened. She stopped Clark from getting that final clear chance. That ruling or absence of one was shameful. Better camera positioning would help detailed examination, but it isn't needed because from the available perspective, it's clear Caitlin was contacted. This circumstance is awful. The screen movement and the paint. Clark needs to break free. 1 second remaining. Violation right there. Clark doesn't get the shot off. Cloud stops her, and New York travels to Indianapolis to secure victory. Done. The reality that officials let it pass shows why people want their removal. That's why this contest went viral, because supporters aren't stupid. They understand what they observed. What they saw was a star athlete denied the chance to equal or win on national broadcast. The Fever didn't perform flawlessly. They had 15 mistakes and missed several important attempts, but that's not the concern. The concern is that referees made themselves the center of attention. Natasha Cloud had been identified as a potential problem before the contest. There's always an athlete every game who causes issues for Caitlin. In this contest, it was Natasha Cloud. Recognition goes to whoever anticipated that Natasha Cloud would be behind Caitlin Clark getting mistreated in this matchup. Screen movement in the paint. Clark needs to break free. 1 second remaining. Clark doesn't get the shot off. That was a violation. Additional camera positioning would be helpful. Searching for extra footage continues because this circumstance is absurd. Natasha Cloud clearly contacted Caitlin Clark. Stephanie White faces criticism because she didn't dispute it. She didn't challenge the missed call at all. They had a challenge left to employ, but Stephanie White didn't use it. The fact remains that the Fever were skilled enough to win this contest, and the officials removed it. The worst aspect is the league likely won't act, but they should because this style of officiating doesn't just affect one contest. It impacts trust in the whole league. It shapes how new supporters view the product. This was meant to be a declaration game. This was meant to be the evening Caitlin Clark proved to the world she could compete with the league's best, and she did. But it still wasn't sufficient because she wasn't just fighting against the Liberty. Game highlights show Caitlin Clark making these long-range shots. Clark was performing exceptionally. Clark trying to divide the defense. Caitlin Clark entered that third period boldly. Her body positioning to protect from defenders was perfectly done by Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark arrived commanding. This is when things went downhill. The foul called on Lexi Hall decided the result. This violation was the reason they secured the victory. She was battling against refs who obviously didn't want her to succeed. This type of analysis isn't preferred. Highlight examination and discussing positive aspects is better, but sometimes the problems must be addressed because this was awful. 2 key points emerge. 90-88 final result. But it should be recognized this is likely the league's top team. The Fever lost by 2 and Caitlin Clark made 2 of 12 from long range. How seldom will she ever shoot this poorly? She might never face another period like this in her career. Making it worse, a challenge remained available. Coach Stephanie White didn't even utilize it. Boston's response shows the frustration. The Fever had a challenge saved and they didn't use it on that final sequence. That choice could trouble them. The situation worsens upon closer examination. Every time Caitlin delivered the ball to Aaliyah Boston in the paint, Boston was hit repeatedly. No calls. Same circumstance with Nalissa Smith, same with Kelsey Mitchell. The refs permitted the Liberty to compete as roughly as they wanted, but once a Fever player reached out, immediately, whistle. It was biased and the numbers confirm it. The Liberty attempted 25 of 32 from the charity stripe.